Good everyone, welcome to this video, and today it's a first flight on the Hawk 3. Now I've been eagerly awaiting this plane for War Thunder as a whole, and well, I'm impressed. Let me tell you that I'm impressed. Now on paper, excuse my voice, I'm feeling a bit dry this morning. Um, it doesn't seem to be spectacular, but at the same time, it seems to be pretty comparable. However, it was when I was in my first flight is when things really took a turn. And obviously, I'm going to be flying it a bit more, but I've been flying the H81, which you will see later. Now, both of these are going to be replays, just to point out, because I was too impatient. I was just so happy to get my hands on these things that I wanted to try them myself, and obviously, I did it on a weekend, so I couldn't record, but whatever. So the Hawk 3, obviously, I haven't really got over this aircraft before. I think it's the Curtis FB2C Ghost Hawk or something like that. That's what it's called in US service or something along those lines. I think it's Ghost Hawk, something like that. And obviously, it's a biplane that originally is a fighter, but you can load it up pretty well with ground ordnance, as you can see here. Now, I did have the full ordnance on board. I was originally going to go in derp just to see what it was like, but unfortunately, a Chaika decided to interact, let's just say. Now, most people know that the Chaikas is probably one of the most powerful biplanes that you'll meet, but the Hawk 3 can actually hold its own, which is rather surprising. But hey, it's 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 when you get into the engine is what I find funny. It's powered by apparently a Wright R182084. Now, looking on the internet, I found this engine only powers a Sikorsky helicopter, so I severely doubt it's going to be powering this plane. What I have found though is that this plane has around 800 horsepower on WEP, as far as I've been able to find, and to be honest, it feels that. But because of the light airframe and obviously the high, well, with it being a biplane, it really does turn well. Now we are only armed with two 30 caliber machine guns, but you've got to sacrifice something, right? Except in the Chaikas case, it sacrifices nothing. Except durability, maybe. But this thing can hold its own. And I think people, because they hear what sounds like a two-stroke that's missing a cylinder, they think it's not going to be very good. This plane is. So, let's jump into the battle and let's have a look at the plane. Now, before this begins, there is a little cameo appearance by a certain YouTuber, Mr. Digital Time Traveler. I noticed him the second I got wheels up, that he was in this game. He was with Short Bus, one of his mates. And, well, the DTT, obviously, his name's Shooters Joe Schmo. I'm going to make a comment in chat at around the 10-minute mark, I think it is, or about the 12-minute mark, where I call it a toe landing because he fucks up his landing. That is because his username used to be the toe of Bo, and yeah. So, obviously I've got the full ordnance on board. This is where obviously I see them and I'm thinking, oh, it's DTT and Short Bus. Now, DTT did have a issue with his, what's the word, like his heads up display. You couldn't see the names for this battle. I put my smoke on to see if I could get their attention, but Short Bus and obviously DTT are on comms. They did their own video. And I know what you're thinking. Am I putting my landing gear up? Yes. Yes, I am. It takes that long. It takes around about 50 seconds, give or take, for the landing gear to come up. And oh my god, it's like I could probably go downstairs, grab a beer, make myself a sandwich, and I'd nearly witness this mid-air collision here. And I'd come up, and I bet you the landing gear would still not be up, because I could make a sandwich in about 20 seconds, give or take. But even so. So obviously you can see here, even with full ordnance on board, it doesn't climb too badly. I mean, I'm climbing at about 10 degrees, so I'm not really trying to climb. Climbing a bit, obviously, because, well, even in a ground pounder, I recommend people gain at least some altitude. Obviously, this thing's not originally a ground pounder, but I wanted to try it as a ground pounder because that's my intention when Chinese tanks come for free, obviously. And I was thinking, okay, well, obviously I know DTT and Shortbus will be on comms, they will be communicating, so maybe I can support them. That was the thought. And obviously, when it comes to things like that, yeah. But obviously I'm just going to jump ahead to a bit of action. So obviously there's a BA-65 over here, we've got a Key 43, which you will get a review on. I actually really enjoyed that plane. I actually really enjoyed that Key 43 Co. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I think I need to record that today, funnily enough. But obviously you can see four 100-pounders, 2 on each wing. And well, they drop as a pair, so you'll get 2 drops of 100-pound bombs and a single drop of the 500, which you can see underneath the fuselage. The 100-pounders are not powerful. That is pretty well known. But the 500, if you like it in the same vicinity as most tanks you'll see at rank 1, that tank is gone. And I think this is really where this plane is going to come into its own as ground forces. Don't get me wrong, it's a good fighter. You'll see that. But it's just... Now, I did have some issues with OBS this morning. The video cards, well, it basically didn't read my video cards, and I was thinking, fuck, what do I do? This is just a side note to waffle a bit, because, well, we're not doing anything at the moment. And for some reason, I just couldn't get OBS to start going. Eventually, I figured out the problem. I hadn't had an update to my drivers and my video card, so did that, then changed it over to the new video card, updated, and it worked like a treat. So obviously out of these 2 targets, a 109B and a Chaika, I'm obviously going to want to go for the Chaika. And well, this thing picks up speed in a dive like a boss, like it seriously does dive rather well. So obviously DTT has just jumped in behind me, he is going to try and attack the Chaika. So is Shortbus, but then I realised, crap, Shortbus is struggling there, because I'm obviously tailing the 109, the 109's outrunning me anyway, so I'm thinking, okay, I'll break off him, I'll see if I can go help Shortbus. Sadly though, Shortbus is not spaded, so, because I think it was their first flight in their session, and the I-153 Chaika is just running rings around poor Shortbus. I'm coming to help him. I'm trying my best, but the Chaika gets to him just before I can save poor Shortbus. So it's at this point I'm thinking, right, we're in a fight. I ain't going to win this with a full payload of 900 pounds of bombs on board. Let's ditch. And I ditch right now. And I'm sort of glad I did. And this is where we get into the stall fight. Obviously I do a pretty epic dodge right there. I will admit that was a pretty cool dodge. But most people think the Chaika is pretty much immune in a dogfight. No, I don't think it is. I fought spaded Chaikas in this thing, and this thing was matching them. You can see here, I am actually keeping with him in the turns, which I was shocked by. Obviously, you don't get any flaps, which if it had flaps, it'd be borderline OP. Obviously, with 230 cal machine guns, you ain't going to get much, but we're right on the ragged edge of our plane's performance here. We're both stalling, we're both rolling. But it was at this point I was thinking, where's DTT? Surely he could lend me a hand, but he's gone off to deal with I think it was a 109. And that was a bit of a shock to me, to be honest, but I wasn't bothered. I could feel this plane wanting to beat this Chaika. And, well, I've stalled here. I'm at 50 miles an hour, but I kicked the rudder over, which still responds rather well. And, well, this poor Chaika can't do anything, and you can see why I said to people to buy this plane. And down he goes. I've just whooped the arse of a Chaika in a turn fight. That is something you don't get to see often. Now, I do put in chat, excellent fight there. It was an excellent fight. Obviously, he put up a great fight. We both were on the ragged edge of our player's performance, and it was only a matter of time till a winner was, well, made. And for this thing to match a Chaika, this thing must be good. Now, there you can see over there, DTT is attacking a P-36. It's a Rasmussen's. He is going to shoot down. I think he gets 2 kills this game. Yeah, I know he shot down a 1 and 9. I think he got 2. I think he got 2. But, obviously you can see he's over there just engaging him. He's going to shoot him down in just a moment. He is... well, DTT doesn't fly by his keyboard very much. But he sets him on fire, kills his engine. That's the P-36 gone. At this point, DTT is going to return to base. However, unbeknownst to me and him, a second Chaikas, well, it's technically an I-15 Biz, but I'll call them all Chaikas. And it just seems like this plane can do whatever you want it to do, really. I mean, as you saw, it be a Chaika, and well, we're about to encounter an I-15 Biz, whilst DTT runs off back to base, which I don't blame him. I was having a conversation, is what I meant to say, with the pilot of the Chaika, who I beat. He was saying Hawk seems on par with the I-15 Biz in the turn, so it seems like it, especially in vertical maneuvers. It seems that this little guy can match it, and well, it looks like this thing has a wooden airframe, which, I mean, it makes it work if it's quite a thin wooden airframe, which it seems to be, but here comes the second I-15. Now, the I-15 Biz has a bit of an advantage. It does have fixed landing gear, and I know what you're thinking, that does this for not much of an advantage, but it basically acts like a minor air brake. I won't get overconfident with this thing. I don't want people to buy this plane and go and dogfight 4 Chaikas at the same time. That's just suicide. But a one-on-one, if you know what you're doing, this thing can match them. As you can see here, this guy started out with a speed advantage, so he is going to be turning aside of me, because obviously his airframe has more wind behind it, and that thing flies like a kite anyway. But the pilot there made a mistake of turning too hard. He blacked out in a turn, and that enables me to get my second kill. And, well, that's another Chaika dead. In this plane's flight that I have flown it, I've downed 3 Chaikas in dogfights, 2 of which were in this game. And I was really impressed with this plane. And for just 250 golden eagles, you can whoop the arse of a Chaika. That seems like a fair deal to me. Very fair deal. But Digital Time Traveler is about 2 minutes away from base, I think. So that's when I'll show his toe landing. If you ever watch his channel, he does do what they call a toe landing. It's like if you hit a tree, they call it the short bus maneuver, because apparently when they were spading the IL-237, short bus hit a lot of trees, which if you hit a tree, I'm just going to say you did the short bus maneuver. So that's where that comes from. I've watched DTT's channel for a couple of years now, and oh, it's so funny hearing some of the stuff they come out with. But obviously, you can see here, just doing a bit of ground pounding. The 30 cals, obviously, they'll clean up light targets like any normal gun. And, well, if I had the bombs on board, this thing could kill tanks, so that's always nice. What I did find, researching the plane that this is based on, it did have a 50 cal. As far as I'm aware, one of these variants did have a 50 cal, from what I've been able to find. It may be wrong, don't claim to be an expert, but as far as I was able to find, this thing did, well, one of these variants did have a 50 cal. So not the Hawk 3, I think it just had two 30 cals. But if we get one in the US tree, we might have a 50 cal. Which I think there should be a plane like this in the US tree, because US tree is lacking biplanes. Let me tell you that much. But we're coming up to the end of the or the first flight, sorry, and, well, I was running low on ammo, and I believe that's my last ground target. And, well, DTT, unfortunately, has done his tow landing. It's where he basically fucks up his landing, and I put in chat, tow landing with a winky face. He does respond, he says, yep. I'm sure he laughed at that. But anyway, what did I think of the Hawk 3? Well, you saw there two Chaikas dead like they were nothing, and the ground targets amount was pretty good to say the ammo that I did have left. Now, I think this plane is going to struggle against I-15 Bizzers and normal I-15s, but against Chaikas, because obviously it's fixed, well, retracted undercarriage, it is probably going to match them in most aspects. Obviously, the I-15 Bizzer will struggle, I think, because of that landing gear being fixed. But other than that, this thing's great, and I highly recommend people pick this up when the Chinese tree comes available for free, which I think is on the 20th of October, if I remember rightly. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I need to go and record the H81 first flight as well as a load of other things. And, well, pick this thing up if you've got the chance, is all I'll say. It's a great plane. I'll see you all on the next one.